Heyo, let's do this. I told you it was coming. And now we get to speculate and do it snarkily. The Board Game Geekies, Golden Geekies Awards Geekies are live, right? You can go vote for them right now. I nominated. So if you didn't nominate, you don't get to be and complain about what didn't make the lists. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to say, who do I think should win? Who do I think will win? And a little bit of what you came for in the first place, the snarkiness. Let's go. They're using the Shoals method. If you're not familiar with that, well, go Wikipedia. It's more complicated than I can get into in a 20-minute video. But essentially, you have to rank them. And so what happens then is A beats B, B beats C, A then concordantly beats C. So that being said, preamble over. Let's just get straight to the freaking good stuff. Going straight in order off of the Board Game Geek page, so no surprises. Okay, we're starting here with two-player games. And I like this because after Wingspan won every single award, they actually said two-player game actually means two-player only. Agent Avenue, Compile Main, Dune War for Arrakis, Flatiron, Jest of Robin Hood, Ironwood, Kelp, King of Tokyo Duel, Lord of Rings Duel for Middle-earth, and Star Wars Unlimited. Unfortunately, my top two games of 2024 are both on the two-player list. So if I'm being congruent and cohesive and not a hypocrite, we're going with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings should win. Lord of the Rings will win. Star Wars Unlimited, fantastic. Hate the model, love the player, hate the game, right? Agent Avenue, though, I would even put over Compile Main. Dune War for Arrakis, I don't even think should be on the 2024 list. I think a lot of people on crowdfunding at least got it on 2023. Ironwood, fantastic. Kelp, lighter than what people wanted. And King of Tokyo Duel is not really that well received in the dueling game, so I'm actually surprised that one's on the list. So what's actually going to be more interesting, though, is all the duel games that are on 2025's list when this category comes out a year from now. Artwork and presentation. Arcs, Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. This is a 2025 game. See, you're already effing things up, Board Game Geek. Right? Like, nobody had this before 2025 if you weren't named Dice Tower. Fromage, Harmonies, Kelp, Let's Go to Japan, Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth, SETI, Unconscious Mind, Wondrous Creatures, Wormspan. And who do I think should art and presentation? Like, what the friggin' deuce does that even mean? It's like the whole basketball MVP. How do you want to define most important? So this is a complete and utter cluster. I love the artwork on Fellowship of the Ring. I don't think it should win because it's a 2025 game. I don't think Duel for Middle-earth is overall the one that I would choose in that regard. I think Wondrous Creatures has cool meeples. The magnetic stuff is not necessarily for me. Harmonies is pretty, but you know what? It could be almost anything in that regard. Arcs is gonna probably get the vote. Of all of these, though, that's left, I don't think Unconscious Mind is an over deluxified Euro. I don't think just over deluxifying things should win you on presentation alone. And so we're gonna go with Arcs. We're gonna go with Arcs on that one. What I think should win and what I think people are going to vote for in that regard. Cooperative game. Seventh Citadel, Hegemonia, Bomb Busters, Dead Cells, Fate Forged Chronicles of Khan, Fellowship the Ring trick-taking game, The Gang, Leviathan Wilds, Primal, Slay the Spire, Tidal Blades, Wilmot's Warehouse. This was like a gangster's row of just who's who, though, right? Games of games of games. Fellowship is going to be on my top 10 of 2025. The Gang was just outside my top 10 of 2024. Leviathan Wilds was in my top 10, so was Primal. So if I would have actually been able to get a copy of Slay the Spire, it probably would have been there too. Bomb Busters is the biggest cooperative game name that you have not played nor heard of, that got absolutely zero Essen hype, but has scaled up so high following Essen. It's probably the biggest winner post Essen of 2024, so it deserves a spot on this list. But you know what? Top three in reverse order, we're probably going to have to go. What I think should get it is probably number 3, truth be told, Bomb Busters from an accessibility standpoint. I love Primal the Awakening, but you can't get it played and it's going to cost you so much more money. And so I give Bomb Busters kudos over that. Then I think what should be number 2 is probably Leviathan Wilds. And I think number 1 should and, well, will be Slay the Spire. I don't think that one is really in any question whatsoever. What will get number 3 and number 2, though, I think number 2 is going to be Fellowship of the Ring Trick Taking, even though I'm disqualifying it from my voting because, again, that's a 2025 game. I'm sorry, not sorry. And then I think the Gang is actually going to get number 3 here as well. I think the Gang is going to be the other vote there. Expansion. Arcs, Blighted Reach, Expeditions, Gears of Corruption, Forest Shuffle, Gaia, Heat, Obsession, Sky Team, Terraforming Mars Prelude 2, White Matcha from the White Castle. We'll go with that one. Screw it. White Castle Matcha. Matcha's actually green. Anyway, I drank the good stuff before. It actually is not horrible, but now I'm a coffee person. So, sideways tangent over there, though. I don't think Gears of Corruption or Forest Shuffles are big enough names. I don't think Gaia Project is probably good enough. I wouldn't even give Heat or Obsession with just a characters expansion. Prelude 2, no. So I think you have to go with White Castle, which has the name nod. I think you have Arcs, and then I think you maybe have Sky Team Turbulence. But Sky Team, as one of the best cooperative games of all time per the Board Game Geek rankings right now, is probably too small. And so I think it's probably going to be more than anything else Arcs from a popularity contest standpoint. Sky Team Turbulence, though, will go number 2 of what I think is going to win. And then White Castle, I think, is going to be number 3. What do I think should win? You know what? We'll go with Arcs as number 1. We'll go with Arcs as number 1, Sky Team for number 2, and Castle for number 3. So no change, actually, with that one. Innovative. Arcs, Bombuster, City of Six Moons, Fishing, Fromage, Gang, Let's Go to Japan, Monkey Palace, SETI, Wilmot's Warehouse. Wilmot's Warehouse is a storytelling memory game. No. SETI is going to get all of the name recognition, branding from that side of things. Monkey Palace, no. Let's Go to Japan and the Gang are better than you would think. Fromage is doing something different. Fishing is a trick-taking game. City of Six Moons, I'm not actually sure I remember even what that game is. Bombusters and Arcs. I still think Arcs is going to be the overwhelming wingspan of this year, so I think Arcs is going to be considered the most innovative, and truth be told, it probably deserves it. SETI is good, but I don't think it's necessarily as innovative overall, but it's going to be between one of those two. It's just whether the heavy Euro gamers or the Ameritrash Thrash gamers come out in heavier force on this one, and we'll kind of see, because again, ranked voting here. So if you do ranked voting, if someone is ranking Arcs who's also wanting SETI to win, and someone's not ranking SETI, well, that can skew things a little bit if a lot of people are doing it that way. So it's going to be really interesting to see these categories, which have clearly two aisles, two sides of the fence, what that actually shakes out as. I'd love to see the actual results rather than just like the winners in that way. Light Game of the Year. Again, just like my silly, stupid awards, everybody has their own categories. Bombusters, Captain Flip, Castle Combos, Cities, Fishing, Flip 7, Gang, MLEM, Rebirth, River Valley Glassworks. What do I think should win? Bombusters. I think Bombusters should win. I think the Gang should be second. And I think probably just from a sheer mechanical standpoint, you know what? I think Captain Flip, nope, just kidding. Castle Combo should be 3. What do I think is going to win? I think it's going to be the Flip 7 over everything else. And then I think you're going to see probably the Gang. And then I think it's a toss-up for whatever else is third. I don't think Cities or Captain Flip or Fishing are going to be on there. I don't think Rebirth or MLEM either. So take what you can for the rest of those. River Valley Glassworks probably rounding out the top there. Medium Game of the Year. Endeavor Deep Sea. Fellowship Trick Taking. How is that a medium freaking game? Fromage, Harmonies, Go to Japan, Duel for Middle-earth, River of Gold, Slay the Spire, Windmill Valley, Wormspan. And this is the, again, just murderer's row of who's who, right? Because in any other year, Endeavor's a top 10, Trick Taking's a top 10, Harmonies is a top 10, Japan's a top 10, Duel for Middle-earth's a top 10, Slay the Spire's a top 10. People had Wormspan as a top 10. I definitely didn't. I don't even own a copy. But that's going to be the question, right? And so this one, flip a coin. It's going to be between Slay the Spire and Duel for Middle-earth. That's the bottom line of it, right? And so right now, I would probably give the edge for Duel for Middle-earth. But if you told me it was flipped either way, or Harmonies snuck in there because the people that like those two games split their votes and Harmonies sneaks in overwhelmingly, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. Heavy Game of the Year? Well, this is going to be the other big toss-up, right? Because I'm sorry to Black Forest, Civolution, Ezra Nehemiah, Invention, Evolution of Ideas, Inventors of the South Tigris, Menifer, and Unconscious Mind, I think you're going to be overshadowed, and this is just going to be a head-to-head competition between whoever fan base sends out more emails, Arcs, Andromeda's Edge, and SETI. So is Arcs going to get a clean sweep? Is Andromeda's Edge going to come out of nowhere? Because those fans are rabid, especially with the announcement of the new expansion. Overwhelmingly, though, SETI has a good, strong case, but I think Arcs is going to sweep it. Does Arcs deserve the heavy game of the year? I think it's more of a medium game, personally speaking. So I would give it to SETI and then Arcs and then Andromeda's. But again, how do you want to split hairs here in terms of that? So take that for what you will. Party game. Caution Signs, Courtesans, Flip 7 Gang, Guess Trudis. What the deuce are some of these games? Hitster Bingo, Landmarks, Link City, Things and Rings, and Wilmot's Warehouse. I mean, Flip 7. It should be Flip 7, followed by Courtesans, followed by the Gang. And I don't think the Gang should win any of these, truth be told, because it's too hit or miss, right? If you know poker, it's fantastic. If you don't know poker, it basically bombs bigger than Bomb Busters. Take that for what you will. Print and Plays, 52 Realms, Adventures, The Cubes of Europe, Dangerous Space, Corset, Forage, Grim World, Night, Koala Rescue Club, Rome, Fate of an Empire. Koala Rescue Club. Other than that, who's going to win? No freaking clue. Solo game. 7th Citadel, Civolution, Conservas. I just got a copy of Conservas in the mail. Forage. Thank you, Chad, by the way. Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs. I, Napoleon, Imperium Horizons, Kingdom Legacy, Feudal Kingdom, whatever that is. Rome, Fate of an Empire, Slay the Spire. I don't like this category being the way it is, because if you're going to define at the beginning of this video 2-player games as now 2-player only, I think you should have, again, a separate category for solo games only, because otherwise you're screwing kind of the solo games in this situation, like you screwed the 2-player games when Wingspan won 2-player game of the year, 3-player game of the year, 4-player game of the year, 5-player game of the year, 6-player game of the year, 7-player game of the year, whatever. And I think what should win probably, I'd probably go Imperial Horizons. What do I think is going to win? Yeah, right. It's going to be Slay the Spire. Don't kid yourself. Thematic, 7th Citadel, Arcs, Dune, Endeavor. We've seen all these in other categories. Fellowship of the Ring, Trick Taking, Go to Japan, Duel for Middle-earth, Rock Hard, making a first appearance, SETI, and Unconscious Mind. I still think Duel for Middle-earth should win. I think that's a great thematic incorporation. I think it's just fantastic for what it does. But will it win? Again, it's going to be a split between that and Arcs. War games. Arcs is now a war game too. Burning Banners, Dune War for Arrakis, Jest of Robin Hood, I, Napoleon, Rebel Fury, Red Dust Rebellion, Tanto Manta, Undaunted Callisto, and the last one I can't pronounce, Vijayanagara. I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry, but what do I think should win from an Arc? What do I think, see, Freudian slip there. What do I think should win from a war game side of things? I think people really loved Burning Banners. It's a game where I would absolutely never be able to play it. So I think that's maybe what's going to win. Again, Dune War for Arrakis isn't going to win any game awards in these sense, but it's still a fantastic game, so don't discount it. But I could see Arcs, again, clean sweeping as well. Podcasts, we're not going to talk about that. I don't know. And best board game apps. You don't want to hear all these, but somehow Pokemon the Trading Card Game one's on there. Quilts and Cats of Calico, Stone Age, Summoner Wars Online, Mythic Mischief, Mountain Goats, Dune Imperium, Codenames Clank. I think it's a toss-up between probably Mythic Mischief and Dune Imperium. Nah, just kidding. Screw it. It's Dune Imperium. People are going to vote Dune Imperium. Personally speaking, I'd probably do Summoner Wars, followed by Mythic Mischief, followed by Dune Imperium. But if you mixed up any of those and told me that they won, I wouldn't be surprised either in that regard. There you go. That's it, right? Short, sweet, and to the point. And, right, awards, right? Everybody's got one. I've got a whole nother opinion about that elsewhere because other awards for 2024 announced recently too. So it's a copycat system, right? That's why I put out my awards, because mine are clear copies of who I don't know what I'm thinking and where I'm going with stuff half the time. And that's why it's just fun to put out random makeup awards. So if you have other awards that you want to see me just randomly make up and throw into a video, let me know in the comment section down below. That's all I got. Stay classy. Peace out. See you later.